As Speaker Mike Johnson gets settled in his new role, our next guest says many are discounting the risk of a government shutdown in coming months. Joining us now is Libby Cantrill, PIMCO, head of U.S. public policy. Someday that will be the black swan that happens, and we need to worry about it. But I saw some of your comments on 2024, and I just think we ought to just talk about that because this is historic. There's never been an election like this if what you say actually comes to pass. And you think we know the nominees? No?
Well, I mean, I think President Biden will be the nominee for the Democratic Party.
Right.
We've heard from a lot of clients questions about whether it's going to be Gavin Newsom or Jamie Dimon. I always have to break it to them. No, it's not going to be either of those candidates. And for the most prosaic reason, because a lot of these filing deadlines to even get on the ballots for the primaries have already passed. So we basically know the field very much for the Democratic Party. You know, I think the Republican Party is basically set as well. So, yes, for all intents and purposes, these are the candidates that we're going to be dealing with. For President Biden, he is likely going to be the nominee. And then, as I said in my note that you're referring to yesterday, that if the primaries were held today, it would also be President Trump. Now, ironically, 70% of Americans, according to polling, don't want either of these candidates. They don't want a redux of 2020. But at least at this point, it looks like that's where we're heading. Well,
this is like really kind of unprecedented, and it's kind of like surreal to be in a situation like that. I did see some comments yesterday from one Democratic operative begging other Democratic operatives to stop questioning President Biden's standing as the nominee of choice. To just give it up. Stop even saying that maybe there's another way to do this, and but that tells you that that's still out there. That
but
still
if it's too late to get on a ballot, like how many states is that the case?
Yeah, and so both New Hampshire and Nevada, those deadlines have already passed, and then there's a whole slew of deadlines coming up next week. In order to get, again, this sounds prosaic and kind of mind-numbing, but it's actually really important.
What about efforts?
On the ballots, you need signatures and infrastructure.
What about efforts to keep former President Trump off of the ballots?
Yeah, in like Colorado. Yeah, I'm no legal expert, so I'm not really going to opine on sort of the validity of those legal cases. But again, it just looks like at this point, for the Democratic Party, most certainly, and the Republican Party. Now, a lot can change, as we've seen in Iowa and New Hampshire in previous elections. The candidate who's pulling ahead at this point in the cycle doesn't always win those two states. And what we're sort of guiding clients to is if President Trump wins the first four nominating contests, so Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and then South Carolina, this is likely set. He will likely have the amendment.
So Nikki Haley, none of these things are. It's all sort of a sideshow. DeSantis, Haley, Tide, things like that.
And again, we don't want to prejudge the outcome. I'm just saying if the primaries were held today, this would be. I think.
And
we
Gavin Newsom,
so
he's putting it in the bank for the future. All these things he's been doing. He's in China. Did you see the video yesterday of him run over that poor kid on the basketball court? Did you see that?
I did not see that. No.
Did you see it? Yeah. But then he tried to twist it around and try to make it.
That's the operative term. He tried to. Oh God, that was fun hugging the kid. It
was an accident.
Yeah, it was a basketball move that he had no business making, and the kid was actually, it would have been a charging foul because the kid had the position on him. He should not have. And you got to find it. It's like.
Joe, I think to your broader point, though, I think the real risk here for both, if it is a Trump-Biden election, and again, a lot can change and what have you, but if the primaries were held tomorrow, it looks like that's who the election would be. There's a big risk that it's going to be a low turnout election, just because I think. There are a lot of Americans who have the same sentiment as you do, who don't necessarily want to see this movie again, and as a result, they are not going to stay. They're going to stay home. I think the other risk, particularly to President Biden, is if there is a credible third-party candidate, because arguably, if you look at the numbers, particularly in the swing states in 2020, President Biden's campaign was helped out by the fact that there was no real viable third-party candidate. So that is a real risk. And that's what you're also seeing on the Democratic side, them trying to tamp down any no-labels candidate, Cornel West, who's also now running as an independent, and then, of course, RFK, who's also running as an independent.
What's your take on the Senate in the House? Does it flip the way it is now? Or?
So the Senate, the map is really difficult for Democrats.
Yeah.
They're defending 23 of the 33 states that are up for re-election. Of those 23, A bunch are in red or purplish states, so they're absolutely on their back foot. So for sure, the Senate is more vulnerable to flipping to Republican control. Of course, the Senate is only controlled by Democrats by one vote at this point. The House, however, is kind of a different ball of wax, so to speak, and that's partly because of redistricting. We'll have to see what happens here in New York. But also, I think that what's happened over the last 3 weeks has not necessarily been an endorsement for Republicans, particularly the 18 Republicans who are running in those Biden districts.
Right.
So I think they're going to be vulnerable. So I think there is a chance that this election we see actually the Senate flipping to Republican control, the House flipping marginally to Democratic control. Now, again, we're a year out. It's too early to say anything with high conviction.
The continuing all this crap. Let's finally get to that. But what's your...
Well, so I think actually yesterday was important, a kind of an important signal here in terms of what Johnson is planning to put on the floor as it relates to Israeli aid. He is going to not only require an offset, which I think a lot of people in the markets would think that makes sense to offset your spending, but he's going to offset it with something that is anathema to Democrats, and that's touching the Inflation Reduction Act. I think he knows that that's not going to be able to pass the Senate.
About the IRS.
This is IRS, but this is part of the Inflation Reduction Act.
IRS, IRA.
And in sort of this convoluted CBO scoring, it actually, by cutting the spending the IRS, that actually increases the deficit.
Yeah, but that's...
I know you're going to take issue with that, Joe.
No, but that's two birds with one stone for Republicans, because they hate the
IRS, right? But it actually, from a scoring perspective, it's not going to achieve what they want to achieve.
More importantly, does this mean we don't get aid to Israel or Ukraine as a result of this?
Well, I think it's definitely going to be slowed down, Becky. And I think also the broader point to your question about a government shutdown is it kind of shows you where Speaker Johnson is. He really wants to unite the Republican caucus, which is great if you're a Republican. I do think, though, it puts at risk this ability to actually work with Democrats and get something done and fund the government by November 17th. So I actually think what we saw yesterday, and again, Joe, you're right, I think it's sort of a sideshow for the markets, given all that's happening.
Yep.
But I do think it increases the risk of a shutdown, just given that he's going to be pursuing a partisan approach.
Okay.